everybody, to the Be Revolutionary podcast. I am your host, Andrew Perry, with my co-host, Emily Berry. Thank you very much. Showing up with straight hair this episode. We love it. You look great. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. I straightened my hair just for you because you made fun of my hair last week.
Well, that's okay because first episode back, you made fun of me, so I rushed out and fixed what you made fun of. And now I feel good about myself.
All right. Well, I'm glad we're happy with our hairdos today. I'm so excited for today's podcast.
Me too. We have Darcy Richardson from the Darcy Richardson Group, Revel Realty. Sorry, I'm stealing your thunder. You're supposed to do the intro.
I am the co-host in training, and yes, this is my thunder. So my job is to introduce the guests. This is a tough one. I don't want to mess it up because it's like a tongue twister. Okay, ready? Here we go. I'm not going to mess it up, Darcy. Bright, enthusiastic, detailed, and number savvy you are. Darcy came to us as a chartered professional accountant with a diverse service-related experience in Niagara, and I did mess it up. And with diverse, I practiced this.
I didn't know you were doing like the actual bio intro.
Okay, listen, because Dean wrote this actual sentence. Dean wrote this.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of a tongue twister. Let me try this again. Darcy came to us as a chartered professional accountant and with diverse service-related experience in the Niagara region. I did better. Okay. 2015, you obtained your real estate license. Correct? You just got a nice bouquet for your 5-year.
I did, yeah.
I saw
5
that.
years. Crazy.
Yeah. And in 2017, you were honored to have received the 2017 Rockstar Rookie Award from Niagara Association of Realtors and has held a top producer status in Niagara for several years in a row, now leading your very own team and head coach of Fonthill office. Ooh, I got it right.
Bam.
Boom.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
super successful.
It's been busy.
Yes, you're amazing. Okay, there's so much to talk about today.
Yeah, well, welcome to the 8th episode of the podcast with Darcy Richardson. So thank you very much for coming on the show today.
Thanks
we
for
appreciate
having
it. Yeah, Emily, I know that you're super eager to get this episode started. So I think we should just dive right in.
That's amazing. I wish I had that voice. You know, that radio podcast voice. Okay, so Darcy, we're going to start and talk about, you did have a really successful accounting career.
Yes,
and I remember when you first came to Revel, I remember the day, I walked by Ryan's office and I saw this, pretty smart looking clipboard, really intelligent, enthusiastic, eager looking person sitting with Ryan. And I was like, who is that? I have to work with her. And I remember going in the next room and actually texting Ryan, who's in your office? And he was like, a new agent joining. I was like, ooh, I was so excited. I don't know, you just looked like you were going to be successful. And that was the first time I saw you. And you were in it with accounting, but you also held 2 jobs. I will let you talk about that. The transition from 2 other jobs into full-time real estate, I think, is one of the big questions I get and one of the most challenging things for realtors joining real estate is having those other jobs to carry you and then kind of knowing when to let them go, right? So tell us about accounting. Tell us when you first started thinking about real estate when you were an accountant and how that all came about.
Yeah, so I love the accounting firm. I love the people that I worked with. There's just something there that wasn't clicking though. So as I'm going through auditing companies, it was good. I enjoyed it, but I just felt like there was a part of me that wasn't being utilized by doing that type of career. So I always envisioned that I was becoming a police officer. That was the career that I was going to.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No, you never told me that.
That was
you
vision.
would have been a scary police officer.
Right. Yeah, it would work. Yeah.
Stop right there.
So that was my vision. I had gone on a ride along, and I left that night, and I was like, oh boy. So I give it to all the police officers. Like it's quite the career, that's for sure. So I kind of put that to rest after my mom begged me to put that one, to bed. So then from there, I bought my first house. I saw how the whole process went, and I was like, wow. Yeah, I was like, I need to register. So I went ahead and did that, and then here we are.
Yeah, and you're not a 9-to-5 same job every day kind of person. I think the first time I met you, I think you need to be challenged, and I think you saw that real estate was going to be kind of challenging and different. So it was a great I mean, it's a perfect career fit for you. So I'm glad you got into it. Now you did your courses while you were working full time.
Yes. Yeah. So what I did is like back up a bit on that there.
Yeah.
So I worked at a restaurant. I worked at a restaurant for maybe around the 9-year mark. So I always was working serving when I was at Brock. And a broker always came in and he's like, no, you can stop serving. What you can do is sell real estate part-time instead of the restaurant. So when I was taking my accounting courses, I was like, okay, I'll do these courses. It was just something to do in the meantime, right? So then that's where that all kind of unfolded. So I was doing the courses while I was at the accounting firm, working at the bar, and it was just kind of like a side thing. But when I got my designation, I was like, I'm not going to register for real estate. I have my designation. And then it did a big turnaround when I bought that house.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot, Darcy. Okay. Tell us, like, what do you think? I'm going to maybe jump around a little bit.
For sure.
The real estate courses were still OREA courses.
Yes.
They've switched to Humber, which there's a lot of similarities with the courses still. Just a general comment, like, do they prepare you for what you're about to experience when you get licensed? And then I want to get into a bit of the Revel education. But what do you think? Like, what did you think of the courses to get licensed?
To be brutally honest.
We're brutal honest here on the podcast.
Yeah. I feel like there could be more substance to those courses before you actually start selling real estate. Yeah. So with the courses that I did, they're all multiple choice, right? So they do have some elements to them that are great, but I do think that there should be a component there that, where there's a bit more of like, okay, what does real estate actually look like, right?
Like practical training, like here's what you're going to run into. And there's a lot of memorizing and studying, and the courses are good, but I think there's a general feeling like the brokerages need to offer more. And that's why, and then you came in to start the Revel education, right? So we're talking 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
I would have had 8 classes. Well, now we have 18. So, but the 8 courses were still like the fundamental courses. I still have those ones. Like, did you find them helpful? Were they more practical?
100%. Yeah, no, the courses were awesome. The fact that when I joined Revel, I joined your team, that was like a huge opportunity because I actually got to work directly beside you throughout like months, right? And to learn so much of that direct knowledge, things that you can't learn just by, being on your own, or you can't learn through even training. Like having somebody right there with you is huge. Yeah, that's
really valuable. Mentoring is super important. And I think just watching, because I would take you with me.
100%. I was with you for about 6 months, just following around.
This is 5 years ago. You came with me everywhere.
In the car, yeah.
I think I remember one time I went to price out a house, and
that's a ride along.
Yeah,
if you've ever driven with Emily Berry.
It was a full on.
She came, but here's the
I couldn't drive the car. She always had to drive.
Yeah, but Darcy was so like she wanted to come. Like there was no like lazy bone in her body. Like I would say, hey, I'm going to present 2 offers at my listing tonight. Like I don't know if it's short notice. She'd be like, I'll be at the office in 10 minutes and I'll hop in your car. Like she wanted to go see all of that stuff. And I remember going to price out a house, and I wasn't feeling well. I was overworked. I had been talking all day in presentations, and I think I sat back and like I couldn't even do it. And I was like, can you by chance do this presentation, because like I'm really tired. And you were like, absolutely. And you had heard me do it so many times. You just like jumped in and we were left with the listing. And practical learning is so important.
Totally agree.
So important. Okay.
Nothing more valuable than a mentorship program.
Huge.
Absolutely. So your transition, Darcy, I recall a conversation. You and I used to call each other at the end of the day.
Probably like 20 times a day.
I'm just going to let everybody in on a little secret about Darcy. That we like Dairy Queen.
Oh, yeah.
And it really doesn't matter if we're eating healthy or we're not eating healthy. We love Dairy Queen, and we would call each other at the end of the day. We'd work all day, and we wouldn't tell our husbands. We would sometimes go through the Dairy Queen. Am I getting in trouble? Go through the Dairy Queen drive-thru.
I'll get in trouble. It's okay.
But this is 4 or 5 years ago. And I remember one night I was so tired, and I just probably got my Dairy Queen, and we were chatting about our day driving home, and you had to go to work. And I'll
Oh,
never
the bar.
forget that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was like, this is the pivotal moment for me. I said, Darcy, how are you going to continue this? And you're like, I can't, I'm done. Because you were working all day in real estate, getting busy, and you were going into night shifts.
Yes.
So do you want to talk about your experience when it was the right time? Because you left accounting
Almost
fairly
right
early
away,
on.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, you had a lot of great business in the beginning from your accounting firm. I always tell the new agents, like, connect the relationships, let them all know you're in real estate.
For sure.
But then that second job I found, you held on to that for a little while.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Well, the person that I was working for is very, very, very close to me. So the idea of not working with him anymore, I was like, I was hanging on. And then all the customers that would come in, I really liked them too, both of my jobs. So it was hard, both of them. But that one there was more of like a security type thing of that, okay, if say for instance, I didn't sell real estate, like say for instance, for 3 months, I didn't sell real estate, which didn't happen thankfully, but if I didn't, I would still have some money, right?
Yeah.
But then what I realized, I was only going in one night a week at 9 o'clock, 9 till close. And in theory that would be fine, but it seemed like every Thursday night, there would be offer presentation or there'd be showings that went late. So at that point there, I was like, I can't, I'm a real big fan of doing one thing really well instead of trying to split yourself over a bunch of different things. So I thought that I wasn't giving my all to that and I wasn't able to give my all on this because of that. So I had to let it go. It's hard.
That's interesting. And just saying that, like, you're a big fan of doing one thing really well as opposed to like spreading yourself thin. But that's this job, right? So this is something that you, I think, being, the organized person you are and wanting to always do a really good job, you worked really hard to get your mindset into real estate and like
for sure.
figure out like, okay, what do I have to do? Prioritizing the stuff during the day, because real estate can be like, okay, and I know you do to-do lists. We all do to-do lists at the beginning of the day or the night before, whatever, right?
Yep.
And Darcy, you still type yours out?
Oh yeah, I have my clipboard of typed out. Yes, I do.
You want to know how to become organized?
The master
to-do
to-do list. Yeah.
Hey, just I'm not to interrupt or anything, but I'm going to anyways. There's this new app. I'll try to find it, but you can write out your list with a pencil or a pen.
No.
And you take a picture of it, and it turns it into like a printable PDF with like typed out font.
I don't believe you.
I just saw it on Instagram the other day. Sorry,
Wow.
proceed.
Okay. Yeah, you just threw me off my questions, Perry.
That was the point. I'm testing you.
He's testing my
Oh,
co-host
no.
school.
skills. Okay, so
Mentor right here.
okay, any classes that stand out for you? So when you were brand new entering real estate, the Revel education, were there any standout classes where you're like, I'm so excited to go to this class and learn this? Anything that really helped you in the beginning get through some difficult transactions in the first year?
All of them were important. I didn't really look at any, like some of them, obviously I took like multiple times. So when you're going for the second time, it's not as like, it's still good. You're learning from it, but you're not feeling that same like, oh my goodness, what's going to be brought to the table? Because if you just took it the month before, then you already kind of have an idea. But no, I wouldn't want to discount any of them. I think all of them are really, really great, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first sale?
Oh yeah, for sure. I was actually just texting with her last night.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about staying in touch with clients.
For sure. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. So support, like you mentioned, you joined the team right away. So you did join my team. How did you feel supported in the first year? Not just on the team, but like at Revel as a whole. Like, can you think of any transactions that went sideways or situations that you thought, man, if I didn't have a good support around me, like I wouldn't know what to do?
Yes. Yeah. There was one that comes to mind. I'm sure you remember this back in the summer of 2016, where there was a client that had purchased a property in Niagara Falls. And then a few deals down the line, they were set to close on a Monday and their house closed on the Friday. They like to have that bit of that gap there. So they were staying in a hotel here in Niagara Falls. And then on the Monday, the house didn't actually close. I think it was maybe even the opposite way. The people on the Friday, it didn't close their sale. And then on the Monday, they couldn't close. And it was like 8 down the line that didn't close.
So like house closing.
Exactly.
And for a new agent, that's terrifying. Like,
well, it was just awful, right? So it was nice to have that support there of like, okay, this is happening. Most agents, if they didn't have that support, would go just haywire of like freaking out. This is what's going on. What do I do? But I had that support in place where I could say, okay, this is the situation. These are the facts. Now, what should I do to, resolve this issue? And what can we do to take a peek at this, keep everyone calm and keep the boat moving as fast as possible, right? Yeah.
That's key because like I get calls all the time with agents like you're in the business 5 years in the business and they'll be like the house closed, it's weeks later and the new owners are calling to complain about things or something like that. And that can be terrifying for any agent regardless of if you're new. But I think you just hit it on is just the relationship with the client is paramount, right? So I can't fix that for you. I probably can't fix that exact issue, but here's what I advise you. Here's what to do next. Maybe get the home inspector back, have a look. Let's gather some more information. I'll send an email to the other agent, and let's stay calm and work on that relationship with the client because some agents would be like, sorry, I can't help you. I'm too busy.
Or they start
even answer the call without a home inspection. Sorry, I told you that might happen.
Or just like freaking out about it, right?
You repeat business or referrals from that person.
And it doesn't even help the person at that time, right? Like so.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's important.
I'm shooting her all these questions.
Well, it's because when I'm meeting with new recruits, it's not just about the one-on-one coaching and the mentoring, and it's not just about the Revel Ed, but it's also having that support system from certain people who have expertise in certain areas. Like if I'm, looking at a commercial deal, I'll call Phyllis or Corey. There's certain people that are set up in place at the brokerage that are able to answer your questions. I'm not going to say 24/7, but majority, there'll be times I'm like, Emily, come on. Can you answer my question? It's like 11:05. Okay, well, Perry, what do you want? I got to go to bed. But see, that's the whole point. So it goes further past the education programs that we have, and it goes into the mentors themselves. Just wanted to throw that out there.
No, absolutely. And we don't know everything. I mean, there's situations that come up with agents call me situations. I'm like, well, that's a new one. I'm not really sure what to do, but I'm going to check with, Nadia and Phyllis, and I'm going to run it by Dean. We're going to get some support for you, and I'll get back to you. And that's kind of what we do. So, Darcy, can you comment on the amount of time and effort it takes to build a database from scratch? How much time you put into your database? Because I know that's a lot of work, and I train at the brokerage, and I always tell people, foundation of your business is that client list, the relationships. It's tedious entry work, but you and I both know when they don't do that, they have. I mean, a lot of times they don't get started in real estate. Like that's the foundation, right? And a lot of the top producers that you and I have been to these conferences with and everything, it's all about database and contacts. So talk about like building that database and how long it took and how much work it was.
So yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into it. Oh, for sure.
That's why people don't do it.
Yeah, it doesn't just happen overnight. So it's a lot of work of, first off, like obviously compiling the list of people then you have to pre-qualify all of those people just to make sure. You could know Sally from your old job, but it's just so happens it never came up in conversation that Sally's brother is a realtor. So you don't want to be,
delete Sally.
No. So you want to be there for Sally, but you don't.
For Sally.
But you don't want to be spamming.
With the brother.
Yeah,
maybe she doesn't want to deal with him.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation. So yeah, no, you definitely need to put a lot of time into the database, making sure that you have all their contact information, making sure that you have the systems in place. But once you have that database, somewhat started, you want to start contacting those people, right? So it's not something that happens overnight, but you have to make sure that you have it, and then once you have it, actually use it, right? And utilize the contacts that you have put into place, or else it doesn't mean anything, right?
Is there a formula that you follow in order to follow up with your clients? Is it a daily thing? Is it a morning, night?
So many systems. Let her tell you.
Yeah. So in terms of like the active clients, obviously I have systems in place in terms of like recording, like for my listings, all of the different advertising, them doing the results of the advertising, following up with them, all of they're just like the basic things, right? Basics, to make sure that we're in touch, right? For the past clients, we have, different parties in place, obviously due to
This
COVID.
year's been tough. Are you
Yeah.
having a party withdrawal like me?
I am having a party withdrawal. Yes. Yeah. It's sad
Yeah.
because we would have had our drive-in
Summer
party
party,
this
Yeah.
Friday.
Drive-in, yeah. You did that last year. I saw your pictures. I did the movie
Beautiful.
theater every
Yes,
April, and I couldn't do the movie theater or my summer party this year.
Yeah, we had the winery summer parties this year that we had to cancel.
Yeah,
Love the
it's
parties.
too bad, but it's better that everyone be safe.
Absolutely.
Than
How are you dealing with the lack of parties? Because I know you love the parties like I do.
For
Are
sure.
you filling in with a different activity? How are you staying connected with your clients?
Popeyes. Yeah. So we're going to be
Popeye
doing.
Queen.
Yeah, we're going to do
Nice.
Popeyes. So we have a Popeye coming up for. Basically, what we're going to do is tie into the parties,
Okay.
but actually go to their house with
Oh,
it
that's interesting.
instead.
I'm probably
Right?
doing that with my pie thing this year.
Yeah, so the pie's an easy. Yeah, the
That's
pie's
an
an
easy
easy
one,
one.
right?
Same thing like Mother's Day, all the hydrangeas.
Yeah,
dropping
but
off
can you tell them
those.
how many mothers you?
Oh man.
Should I bring this up? You
Oh,
did.
that
I did
was
like
a
a
rough-
quarter
that was
of
a rough-
the moms. You did. I heard what your numbers. And I was like, what did you do? You're making me look bad.
I have an issue
a
with
lot.
adding numbers. Yeah, I think we did like 80 of them.
80 moms got flowers from Darcy.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah,
on
it was
Mother's
good.
Day.
But the thing is that I
It's a lot
got
of
these
work.
hydrangeas and I thought hydrangea, right? Then I show up and it was great. Like big
They were
shout
great.
out to
I saw
them.
yours,
But
they were
like these were like tree hydrangeas.
Okay, can you stop here? How did you deliver 80 hydrangeas?
Oh my
that
goodness
big?
gracious. So I was like,
How many
okay.
people helped you?
Just me myself. It was
You
very
need a
and
Darcy
it was very it was
Richardson
very
cube
it was hilarious. So then we show up and he's like, "That's the vehicle that you're putting these in?"
So
I
how
was
many
like,
trips did you
What,
need?
your SUV?
Yeah. You can fit 18 hydrangeas in the
Darcy,
SUV.
when-
Now we know for next Mother's Day.
Yeah, so
When
we
did you
we
do
just kept
this?
going back and they were great there, honestly. They were so good. And they just left the door unlocked for me and I kept going and getting new loads
amazing.
out in Vineland. It was hilarious.
What's my magic formula for top producers? What's the one ingredient? Hustler. She's a hustler.
That was an
Like
interesting
she's
venture.
tired and she's going
Yeah,
back and delivering
that's what it is.
flowers. That's a hustling, buddy.
And you know what? I want to hear a little bit more about that, but we're going to take a quick little break and we'll jump back in. We're back with Darcy Richardson and, of course, my co-host, Emily Berry.
Hi.
Hello.
There's so much to talk about with her. I'm like jotting notes.
Yeah, no, this is great. This is
Okay.
good.
I'll
stuff.
share what we talked about during the break is sometimes
Well, you can't share that.
I
That's
will.
personal
It's
information.
okay, just chill out. So Darcy's busy. Like you're one of the
Very.
top agents in the region. Your calendar I know is back to back to back. When you were newer, I remember trying to teach you.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I have to just.
Do you
bring
remember
stories
that
up.
day?
I remember the day you
Oh.
called me and you were so tired and so hungry, and you were in a parking lot.
I didn't get to stop to go to the washroom. I think.
Okay.
You can just
And-
be honest.
Now I want you to visualize. She's getting busy. She's probably like, where's she, 5-6 months in or something?
Maybe in there.
But she ramps up really. She was busy, appointments all over, and she called me, and she was always very calm. Darcy's very calm, professional, just like this all the time. She's like, I'm very hungry, and I'm like, oh, well, why don't you eat something? I don't have any food. Okay, I also have to go to the bathroom. I was like, okay, when's your next appointment? I have to go. Okay, so then I taught her some magical booking space in for Tim Hortons stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because she was going back to back to back, because that's what
Yeah.
real estate.
Yeah, I know.
Real estate's about adrenaline
Been there.
and oh, you want to see this house? Let's go. Okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna offer. Let's go sign. And then I would say, "Did you eat today?" And you'd say no, and that would lead to our 11 o'clock drive through Dairy Queen adventure sometimes.
Yes.
So, but you just had when we have appointments cancel, we just looked at each other, and it's kind of like, oh, free time. Right?
Yeah.
Because
Free time to
that's
do
how-
other work.
Other work.
Other-
Yeah. Other work.
I said,
yeah.
oh, you just had an appointment
Well,
cancel.
now we can do some marketing.
Are you watching Netflix? Oh, no, I have to
No.
work.
No.
So that's a hard-working agent for you. Let's give a quick mention about our pool jumps, because you and I were kind of, we had
I remember.
a cool pool jump.
We
Basically,
did.
the reason why I switched to Revel was the pool jump.
The pool jump?
jumps,
Yeah.
right? We had a cool pool jump. It was a brisk, cold day in May
It was.
in Welland.
Yeah.
Your listing.
Yes.
It was like May 12th or 10th, so it was
He
cold.
had just opened the pool, and he probably he was a little early opening the pool because
pictures.
of the listing. Yeah.
It was not a heated pool.
No,
No.
it was freezing.
And at that time, I used to go to stage the houses for you, and
Yeah.
Joe would show up, and Joe would have all his equipment, and he would yell at us, and are you guys done?
He was very patient, though.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah.
But this one particular day, I was feeling like, let's do something for some attention. We got to do the video. We got to stand out. And I'm like, how cold's that pool? And I just remember you going, let's go in. And I'm like, okay. And Joe's just like, they're not going to go in the pool. And we jumped in the pool in our clothes.
Yes.
And we did
With
this
some no
awesome
preparation?
shot. It was like Joe had like one chance at this shot.
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
if you miss this shot, we're going to kill you.
We would have.
We would have killed him.
Yeah.
And he got this really cool shot, and it kind of, went out circulated and got a lot of, and that was fun, but it was freaking cold.
It was really cold.
I did a few pool jumps lately in like 90-degree pools, going, this is nothing compared to the Darcy pool jump.
So was there no preparation for this? No
There was
towels?
none.
No spare clothing?
The client
Oh,
let us borrow
good.
his towels, so we did have towels after because he let us. We asked him first, obviously.
We
We
asked him
didn't
if we
just
could
jump
jump
in
in
his
the
pool.
pool.
Yeah, we asked him while we were there, and he said that because I remember having a towel on my head after, so
Yeah.
that was good. But no preparation. We just do things.
We
Good.
just used to do things.
Yeah.
We'd make fun of Joe.
Life
we
was
would
easier
do little
back then.
videos. Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was
We had
fun.
yeah. Okay. So reminiscing, let's stop reminiscing. Lots we could talk about. Okay. What would you say were the top benefits of being on a team, Darcy? I would say that's a tough
goodness.
question, because it did grow during the time you were on my team, so there were more people added. But in the early days,
Oh, there is tons of benefits. So, top benefits of joining your team would have been obviously that mentorship. Like that's irreplaceable. You can't really, if you're
The
working
shadowing.
with a top producer that wants to see you do well, then you can't replace that, right?
Yeah.
So that's really important. Obviously, pulling the experience from that. Then obviously financially, it's really nice to join a team when you're starting, because there are a lot of things to do if you want to actually have your business grow and you want to actually be representing the clients well. So on like the listing end, to be able to join a team and have somebody who actually knows what they're doing in terms of marketing the property, and somebody who's going to be covering those costs of marketing, that's huge when you're an agent just starting out.
when you're just starting out, you don't
Oh
have
my
the income
goodness
coming in.
gracious.
Yeah, so that's a huge benefit, I would say, and most teams do cover a lot of the
For
that
sure.
expenses. And I just remember us on the phone all the time.
For sure. Yeah, just having somebody, and then also too, another big factor to consider too is like having somebody that's willing to like look at you and say, okay, you feel like you can do this, but I think you can actually do this. So I remember on the phone with Joe, and he used to say, oh no, your goal should be this. And I was like, are you serious?
push you, yeah.
Like, you actually think that that's my goal? Oh yeah, 100% that's your goal. So I would just basically, I'm of the personality that if somebody tells me to do, that's what you're going to do. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's what I'm going to do, right?
Yeah.
People listen to Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that having that there, because it is one of those businesses that you could have quite a few letdowns where that could just let you slip away, right? Where if you do have people that are there supporting you and pushing you up, then you'll feel really good even when those situations do come up, right?
Amazing.
Yeah.
So I don't know your exact numbers. I didn't want to throw numbers around, but you did healthy transactions in your first year for a first year agent, and your second year just really took off in that second year with your numbers, and just how well you were doing in general. And it wasn't just about the volume you were doing, but it was like the details, like how much you were learning, like your paperwork was in great shape. So Darcy, you were one of our first mentors to join our mentor team with like less than 5 years experience. I would say we had some mentors that were in the business quite a while, and then we just thought that you'd be a great mentor. And I remember when you joined the mentor program, you had the experience, you had the desire to teach. So do you want to comment at all about, I know things are a little different today, head coach, and you have your own team, but back then when you were just kind of starting to mentor, like, did you enjoy that? Is like all of a sudden you were giving back and teaching?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You were helping me teach classes and all that.
Oh yeah. No, with the teaching, I get great joy of seeing other people be able to excel and exceed because of the fact that I'm teaching them. That does bring me great joy. Right. So yeah, it was nice to be able to say, like, people would come to me, okay, Darcy, people still now they'll call and say, this just happened, what should I do? Or this situation came up. So to be able to see my advice actually go to work, that's obviously a really great feeling because you're like, you've learned this yourself and you get to see it work for others, which is, you can't really replace that, right?
It is. And,
it is
I
nice.
think it's nice to see people
sure.
come in brand new and be able to see them get from A to B. For me, that's like a huge gift. And that's why I love my position is I get to see people like, you know, even like there's several mentors that came in and they were brand new. And I mentored them and now they're mentors. Like Gil's one of them as well.
For sure.
And it's just super cool. I don't know. I just think it's great. Okay. So we talked about that. Now you're head coach of Fonthill. So tell us about your office.
For sure.
Things you do there with it. How many people do you have at your office? Do you have meetings? And then we're going to get into like kind of when COVID hit and things
Absolutely,
like that.
For sure. So we have just over 20 agents.
Is it 20?
At the Fonthill
amazing.
office. We have some really great agents there, to be honest. Some that have been in the business for a while and some that are really, really, really succeeding and, you know, doing a great job in the market. So I'm really, really proud of them and how well they're doing and how well they are expanding into like that Welland and Fonthill area. So that's super exciting when I'm driving around and I get to see all their different signs. Yeah.
Because you're leading a team.
Yeah.
You're leading your own personal business.
For sure.
And now you're managing an office
For
with 20
sure.
people.
Yeah. And no, and the time's gone by quite fast. So it's been 3 years now of running. Yeah. Of running back in. Yeah. So it's been a while, right? So it's been good. Really nice with that. So we do our monthly meetings. So when during COVID, in terms of the office front, so what I was doing is actually calling each of the agents direct and just making sure that they were doing well instead of the office meeting, because I just felt that there was a lot of time that we were on Zoom already, so I figured that those calls would be better. But then this past month we actually went ahead and did our Google Meets meeting, just like a normal one, right? But I'm big on being in the community there. So doing like the Santa Claus Parade and doing Pelham Fest and different things out in the community, because obviously Fonthill is a very tight-knit community.
I love the Fonthill Parade.
No,
I think
nice.
I maybe missed 1 year. It's a lot of fun.
It is fun, yeah. It's just like, it's a different community feel in Fonthill. So yeah, we enjoy being a part of that, obviously. Yeah.
And these meetings that you do at the Fonthill office, like each one of our branches, does their own little thing, involvement in the community and maybe meetings here and there.
For sure.
Your meetings, if I understand correctly, are quite intense.
Oh. Is that what you heard?
Oh, I just...
Who said that?
I'm trying to be funny. No, but it's not just like, hey, let's just meet and what are you guys up to?
Funny.
It's very organized. So it's probably like, what has happened this week? What is the market like?
Yeah,
who has new listings? Right?
Yeah. They used to be a lot more intense at the beginning.
Do they set goals still? Or?
And that was at the beginning.
But that's good.
I like
I attended one, and I was like, oh
I
my
know
gosh,
some
is she
people
gonna
are
ask
like,
my
oh
goals?
goodness gracious. Yeah, no, I've like
That's amazing though to do.
Yeah,
That's
no, it
accountability.
is.
People
No,
need that.
it is good, but no, basically what we do at these meetings now, like the general run through, is I want them to tell me something great that's happened to them over the past month, because I think
positive.
it's really good to start off
Yeah.
any of my meetings, like even my team meetings, we start off with that. Tell me something great that's happened, because it's pretty crazy. People have to stop and they really have to think. In most cases,
off at the right foot, and
Let's talk about a
they
win.
went into the meeting in
Sure.
a negative light, and now they're forced to think of something.
We did that at Cub Scouts.
oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh,
You
good.
were a Cub Scout?
You had to have a quarter or something, and
Yeah.
then you would go and drop your quarter into the hat. It went to charity, and then you have
That's
to say
nice.
name one good thing that you did this week.
That's nice.
You know, and I always I helped an old lady across the street.
And did you?
I might have. I was young. I don't know how.
Did you have lots of badges? Were you like
I
one
had a
of
ton
those
of
kids?
badges. I had a ton of badges.
With your sash,
So
right?
I feel like if I was in Fonthill, I'd be like badges. I'd
Yeah.
have, the lines on the shoulder.
Okay,
I know.
I got too many jokes. I'm gonna just leave that one on Cub
No,
Scout.
but
No,
I
that
really
makes
agree with that.
sense,
That's
yeah.
amazing. It
And we'll-
starts to open up your mind.
For
It gets
sure.
people limber and
that's
loose.
really good. I mean, I'm gonna steal that idea.
Yeah.
And
No,
Fonthill,
it's
good
There's
idea.
a lot going on in Fonthill because you know Fonthill very well.
Oh yeah,
It's a
for
lifestyle
sure.
community.
You're from the Welland Fonthill area.
Yes.
So I don't know, any comments you want to tell us about like what's happening in Fonthill, because there's a lot of new stuff going on. Highway 20 there, community
Yeah.
center. Like any comments on the market in Fonthill right now?
The market's really great in Fonthill right now. Obviously, what I feel, and I've done a few videos on this explaining it, but where I feel that drive's coming from is that obviously Fonthill's always been a great place to live, obviously, but COVID's hit, and I think a lot of people are looking and they're like, okay, where can I be that, is still close to things, but I have a little bit
They want
more
space.
space.
A mature
Right?
neighborhood.
There's so many
peaceful.
houses with like that larger lot, and
Yeah.
then the in-ground pool, which we all know 2020 summer,
Yeah.
everyone wants that in-ground pool. So I think a lot of those elements have just really make it
Yeah.
a hot spot right now, right?
Fonthill's doing
totally
phenomenal.
agree.
Right
It
now,
is.
the
Yeah.
Fonthill market.
I put one up, sold in a day. And
Yeah.
that was even 2 months ago.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a great place. We love it there because like there's like little intricate trails all throughout the town,
Steve Bauer,
all
right?
yeah, all the way through, so we can go on nice walks. So you
Goes through
feel
the subdivisions too, right?
everywhere
That's
throughout all the
amazing.
things. So the nice thing about being a realtor living there is that like you can actually walk through, not that I'm like creeping people's backyards or anything, but
Where is this going?
right? No, you walk through, but like you're seeing so many different like types of houses and different like
Yeah.
setups of their backyards, because you're seeing
The
houses
big
from
trees.
the front end. Yeah.
You're both creeping people's neighborhoods.
Yeah. We love it.
If I see something interesting, I'll circle around in my car again. I
yeah,
drive
'cause you're
around. I
passionate
drive
about
around
it,
Niagara
right?
Lake all the time. And be like, okay, I didn't know that house was on the corner. What I always look. It fascinates me
Awesome.
because we live in similar communities.
Yes.
Right,
Yeah,
so it's like
just
lifestyle
different.
communities.
For sure.
And being a part of that community is huge. So
And if
I'm
there's
right
a
here
house
with
you
you.
really want to list, you put out the vibes like, oh,
Yeah.
I hope they call me.
Both of you
Yeah.
are really active
I
in your
know,
communities. Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna send you a nice handwritten note, but I'm gonna send it to your neighbors as well to try not to look too desperate. I really want this house.
Oh boy. All right. Yeah, let's go back to March when this pandemic was kind of ramping up. I mean, I
sure.
think in February we were hearing it on the news. I think we were noticing it like, well, what does this mean? This can't be a big thing. This has never happened before. And then in March, we were all following the news every day, and we were hit with this lockdown.
Yeah.
So that week of the lockdown, I mean, I've shared a little bit about my experience with it. This is something we've never had to go through. No real estate offices have had to go through this. So, Darcy, what was your experience as a head coach of Fonthill, managing 20 people, managing your team, having active sellers, active buyers, those first 3 or 4 days, that first week? I mean, do you want to talk about that and
sure.
how you just really put things in place and move forward and push through it?
Absolutely. So you have to look at, okay, what needs my immediate attention, right? So the first thing I need to look at is, okay, my active clients right now, and then my staff working for me.
Right.
That's really, really important, making sure that they're all taken care of. So I didn't want people just coming through my clients' houses without having systems in place. And then I naturally didn't want my staff working with people coming in and there being a potential issue there, right? So it was really great. I must say, like, Revel went ahead right away. Okay, we're shutting the offices. This is how it's going. Still, you can have the staff there, but there's no expectation that we're just having random people coming in all the time. So it was nice that that Ryan.
It was nice that
obviously
decision was made for us. I think we were the
really
first
quick.
real estate office to shut down.
Yep.
Eh?
Yep.
Really
Yep.
quick, and that was good. I was really happy about that, just because we're obviously protecting our people first, which our people are our biggest asset, right? So that's
Absolutely.
really important. Then from there, just making sure that all the sellers were taken care of, making sure that we're adhering to all of the recommendations and everything that we have to do, and just I'm of the personality, obviously very conservative and, like, you know, black and white, you know. So I probably took it a bit even overboard from where it needed to be, right? So I had sellers asking me, oh, should I put my house up? And if they had any health concern, my recommendation was probably shouldn't, right? Where instead of saying, okay, no, yeah, let's put it up and kind of roll the dice. So I just took a very conservative approach throughout the entire stretch, just because the last thing I would want is one of my clients to get sick or be negatively impacted by something that we didn't really know much about, right?
Well, at the time we didn't know how
Oh my
bad it was going to
goodness.
get.
No
I think there was
clue.
that sense of it's coming. We're going to
Oh my
be.
goodness.
We're all going to get sick. And I just
Yeah.
remember one day thinking, like Joe, is there like friends of ours on the street? We're going to start hearing people have this in their house. We didn't know what to expect, and I think our Niagara numbers have remained. Like there's definitely people that have
Yes.
you know, and outbreaks, which is just very sad. But for the most part, Niagara's been fairly good with our numbers, but we didn't know. Like we were just, and I think operating in that responsible mode, I did the same. I really came to a stop, and a lot of people, if they were going to list, I said, let's just not. And the sellers, you know, they didn't want people coming through their house either, most of them.
For sure.
But it's been a challenge, right? I mean, we have to protect people. I still have a lot of safety procedures in place. I have houses right now with compromised immune systems, but it's a challenge though, because we have a lot of people, and for the most part, I think the local agents have been good. We've talked about this.
Yes.
And there's some fantastic out-of-town agents that come sell our homes, but there's different boards and different policies. So, you know, when we limit 3 per party or 4 per party, or the seller wants masks worn, the seller doesn't want children in the house, only 2 people in. There's some sellers are having special requests, and it's sometimes not always being followed. Which is, I find, an added challenge during this to keep the sellers
100%.
feeling comfortable, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So it is helpful, obviously, when people do just go ahead and adhere to it. But yeah, there has been times on my listings where there are, you know, people pushing back. Well, no, they for sure want this, or, you know, so it is nice, and it's good for everyone to remember that we all are working together on things. And generally speaking, people have been good. So
Yeah.
that's nice.
You're a natural leader, I would say. You're a natural leader with your office, with your team. So being thrown in that situation with the pandemic, I could see you maybe having like moments where like, okay, what's this? Okay, well, I have people relying on me.
For
I have to lead. I have to be responsible, and people turn to us as professionals. Like I had, like my neighbors even just like what's happening? Like, what are you guys doing right now?
Number one topic.
And then when they're scared, they turn to us. So we had to, you know,
especially,
yeah,
you know, spending a lot of time
like
at
as a
home.
head
You were at
coach.
home too, right? Like we're in basically home, right?
Let's talk about cooking.
No? Oh yeah, true.
Because
that is true, actually.
I'm
yes.
over talking this because on my
This
other
is good.
podcast, Perry's like, oh no, she's going to talk about her.
Here we go. I'm going to check out for about 5 minutes.
Our cooking has improved
We cooked a
significantly,
lot.
I think.
I
Yeah,
noticed that via Instagram.
it is pretty
cook.
crazy. Yeah.
We had time at home. We were like, wow, our schedules are not booked. There's a lockdown going on. We're not even supposed to be driving around. Well, I'm going to take advantage and I'm going to cook a meal. And then I got you on the HelloFresh.
Yeah.
You and I were supposed to do a cook-off.
Yeah, we haven't yet. We have
I had
to
this
still.
great
It's
idea.
never too late.
I think I'm funny sometimes, and Joe's like, "You're not funny." But I had this great idea that we were going to order the same meal, the HelloFresh meal,
Yeah.
and we were going to do a live stream and split the screen and cook the meal and do like a contest to see who did it better.
I had an issue actually.
But then I got busy.
I zested my.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, no.
Zested
So
my thumb.
yeah, it was.
I
it
haven't
was
figured out how to
bad, yeah.
zest. So you try to zest.
Oh, don't do it.
Don't do zesting. When
No,
it
don't
says
buy
to zest the
zester
lime,
and don't do that.
I just cut the lime and I juice it, but I skip the zesting part.
I
I
don't
was
get the
using a
zest.
peeler.
What is the zest?
It's
So,
stupid.
I
it's
know what it is,
actually
but why
like
the sh-
it's
it's
actually
good strong
is,
flavor.
It is strong flavor. It is really great.
Well, I don't do it.
But I've tapped out. I'm not doing it.
She
anymore.
cut herself with this. That's
Yeah.
a
I was
dangerous,
like, this is what happens when
dangerous
you cook.
activity
Zest.
for a top producing agent.
Oh my
We're not built to
goodness.
zest. Come on, right?
Well, you know what? When I saw your, if you wanted to bring it up, so I'm going to bring it up. Like when I saw your beginning COVID cooking to like the end, it was almost like you'd seen Miss Doubtfire. You know, when she, well, I thought I'm like, when
was
she
a
starts
big
burning,
transformation.
she starts burning all the food and then
Yeah.
orders it from the restaurant and she's like, presents it.
But she
so I was
actually
like, where
cooked
was
it.
Emily behind the scenes? Where did the
The
restaurant
first day
that
I took
provided
my
that-
phone out and I taped my cooking, I'll be honest, I was in a rut that day. I was like scared. There was COVID stuff going on. My kids, my family. It was a bad day, and I thought I got to do something fun.
Yeah.
And I was like, today I'm cooking rice. I've never done this before. Follow me. And it was like, we're going to cook rice today. And I don't know what you put in rice. And I remember going, let's put some soy sauce in it. And I was like dumping soy sauce
Oh,
in
in
there.
the water.
And then I was like cooking with oil that like 10 people messaged me after going, don't use that kind of oil. I was like, ooh.
Canola.
So I learned, canola.
Yeah, don't use
People were like, use avocado oil. I'm like, that exists? Like, so yeah, I learned. I got better. Okay.
Yeah.
That's my
Are you
cooking
still
segment.
doing HelloFresh
Yeah.
or no?
I do.
Good.
Okay, good.
I have 3 meals a week.
We too. Yeah, us too.
Yeah?
We're still doing it. Yeah.
I
So,
love it.
Do you have a little bit left? Does this mean that we're running out of questions?
No, my
No.
cooking,
we were
the cooking was
legitimately
very
talking
important.
about it,
All right.
yeah.
All right. I have one before
Yes.
because we only have a
Yeah.
little bit
Sorry.
to go. Remember, I'm over here too. Remember?
Aw.
Oh, hi, Andrew.
No, this
You
is good
should
for
get
you guys.
HelloFresh.
This
If
is
you
good
get
for you guys.
We don't see
We'll
each other
talk
a
to you
lot. I'm
about it.
sorry. Okay. Stop talking to me, Darcy. Go.
All right, so let's talk about from a growth perspective. You know, with Revel. I mean, obviously, when I'll tell you something. I don't know if I've ever told you this. I don't even know if I've told Ryan or Nikki this, but I seen when you transitioned into the head coach, and I knew that you got Rookie of the Year, and I knew that you were still in your early career. I'm like, wow, this is a brokerage that promotes growth, finds people who are looking for opportunities, or those people find them. And how from a brokerage perspective have you experienced, like the opportunities, I guess, like.
Sure. So how have I experienced it? So there's been a lot of opportunities, right?
Like,
So
I mean, yeah.
being able to take on an office and run
Yeah.
that and manage that's been huge on a whole bunch of different levels. There's been
Yeah.
a lot of connections that I've been able to make as a result of running the office. A lot of people that I've had reach out to me, like that have worked at the office, like in great friendships that have formed from it. So I even had an intern last year that had reached out to me from Niagara College.
Yeah.
So it's a really nice feeling to be able to make all those community connections and to be able to grow from there, right?
Yeah. That's amazing because I seen when you stepped into the role, I'm like, this has got to be a brokerage that really wants to help the realtors, grow,
Sure.
build their business in different ways.
We promote from within.
Yeah,
quite
no,
often,
absolutely. And I think what you're doing is amazing. And I think you're taking everything that you might have learned from your mentor and just kind of running with it and exploding. I love it. So thank you.
Sure, thank you.
I have a
all.
final thought for you. I have a final question. Any advice?
I like to say something this podcast.
That was such a good segment.
Good, thanks.
Yeah. That Okay, Darcy, if there's anybody out there that's thinking of a career in real estate right now, with the market the way it is, with what's going on, do you have any advice for anybody thinking of joining real estate right now?
Okay, I think that they need to talk to a realtor that's busy in the industry. I've had people that are close to me that I know well that have reached out and can I come with you for a day, right? Right now that might be a little hard with COVID, but even just meeting with a person ahead of time, and I always ask them like, why real estate? And they can explain different things of what they're expecting, and then from there I can explain if I think it's a good or a bad thing for them, right? So I've had a few people meet with me and they're like, I want to get into real estate, and I kind of want to do it, part-time. If I sell 3 houses a year, then that's good, right? But they don't understand that all of the fees that come with selling real estate. And then if you're only selling 3 houses a year, no offense to that, it's kind of hard to have that, that background and that experience.
How can you serve your clients well if you don't have the experience?
That's the thing, being able, and then finding those first 3 transactions, it's not easy to get those, to secure those. So if you're only doing that and that's the overall plan, it might not be a great fit right now, right? So it depends on what your overall vision is, but do your homework ahead of time. Make sure that it's the right fit for you, and do your due diligence, because nothing's worse than going through the whole process, getting there, and they're like, "Ooh, this is nowhere near what I expected," right? Yeah. Because what people's vision of real estate is in comparison to what it actually is, there's a huge difference. And when I started, I remember I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe my husband's actually letting me leave my job. This is hilarious.
But there's some things that surprise you about real estate.
Yeah.
A lot surprised me about real estate. A lot in a very positive way.
But some not so positive.
Well, just a completely different vision, right?
Yeah,
so I think
industry.
a lot of people think that you're going to go and you're just going to sell the house and it's going to be like Vanna White style, like this is how it's going to go, right? Yeah, this is how
Here's
it
your
is.
keys. Oh, like that picture, here.
Yeah, right? But
sometimes it's like that.
Sometimes it is like that,
and they love us, and they are so happy.
I know, and when there's problems, it's almost sometimes a blessing, because you can actually show
Build
them
the relationship more.
This is what we do. But
that's when I can show a lot of times
where
my
your
true
value
is when stuff goes
100%.
wrong. After it goes wrong, they'll say to me, "We are so glad we hired you. Like, I don't think the other person would have been able to do that." And I'm like, "Well, I have a lot of experience with these things happening and keeping the client calm." But I agree with you, Darcy. One is, a lot of people don't realize building the business and finding the business is a whole job.
Our number
one job,
is
right?
lead gen.
It's a whole job in itself. And then 2 is, I love meeting with them and going through like a typical day in the life of somebody busy. Does this work for you? Right?
For sure.
Because
people will say, well, I don't need to be that busy. And I'm like, no. But to be even a little busy,
but sometimes you can't control.
This is the recipe, right?
Even if you have 3 clients versus 10 clients on a day, all 3 people want to offer. You have no control about that. So then you're all of a sudden you wake up to a busy day, right?
Yeah, you have to be ready to go, and you have to be willing to put those clients' needs first.
Put those hats on and go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, this was fun.
This was fun for you guys.
Oh, did we leave you out?
No, we'll do a part 2 again, and after I've got my Hello Fresh.
You look great
Hello
today.
Fresh, and then we can do.
I'll be working on my cooking skills so I can engage in the conversation next time. I'm just totally kidding. Darcy, honestly, thank you so much. This has been great to learn from you. And Emily, of course, you have been extremely awesome lately with your co-hosting skills. I think you're up to grade.
I've been practicing my co-hosting.
Now.
No, I'm not practicing. I just
Joe's got to record the practicing in the mirror before.
Well, it's a lot to live up to. He comes on, he's like, "Welcome to the podcast," and I'm just like, "Oh my god." I can't compete with that.
But you've done great. And everybody at home watching and listening, thank you so much. I couldn't do it without you, and I certainly wouldn't want to.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Okay, thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.